weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femima.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded.
Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
Welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. My name is Belly Squatter. Thanks for joining us today. Now the news making the headlines. Nigerian military airlifts medical supplies and detection kits from China. Coronavirus combat Ethiopia to free over 4,000 prisoners. US Senate passes $2 trillion bill despite aid bill. And Asia protester child heads for recession due to virus. Anthony Joshua is fit and healthy despite contact with the Queen and Charles. The details of that news will come right after the break. You're welcome. The Nigerian Labour Congress blames federal government for COVID-19 spread, seeks wage protection. The Nigerian Labour Congress on Wednesday blamed top government officials, whom it describes as big men, for the spread of coronavirus in the country. In a statement signed by the president of the union, Ayuba Waba, the NLC accused the top officials of failing to go into self-isolation after returning to Nigeria from countries with high burden of the virus and refusing to submit themselves for check at ports of entry. The union also said poor contact tracing, government failure to enforce self-isolation policy, and inadequate facility for on-the-spot check at ports of entry were indications that the federal government was not prepared to handle increased case of coronavirus in the country. Waba added that failure of the government to monitor those who should be in self-isolation and subsequent rise in the number of people infected with the virus justified the union's earlier call for the federal government to ditch self-isolation policy. He described the rise in the number of infected persons as a looming tragedy that was avoidable. Meanwhile, the president of the Workers' Union said, with the national lockdown almost inevitable, workers must not be made to shoulder the burden of the situation, while calling for wage protection in the event of closure of factories and workplaces. He added that currently they foresee a situation where more factories and workplaces will experience closure and reduction in working hours. They insist that workers must not be cannon fodder for this socio-economic fallout. And now moving forward, the Nigerian military airlifts medical supplies and detection kits from China. The Nigerian Air Force airlifted from Lagos to Abuja a consignment of medical donations to Nigeria by China's Jack Ma Foundation to fight the spread of coronavirus in the country. The donations were on Tuesday brought into the country in cargo areas of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, by an Ethiopian airline cargo plane in 107 boxes. There were surgical masks, medical disposable protective clothing, face shield and detection kits weighing about 3,000 pounds. In a statement, the NAF Director of Public Relations and Information's Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola said the supplies were lifted from the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, and handed to the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Health, Alhaji Abdulaziz Abdullahi, in Abuja, in fulfillment of his roles of providing military aid to civil authorities. The donated medical materials, which consist of 107 boxes of medical supplies and equipment, were lifted in a single mission using the NAF-C/130 ENQUIRY aircraft, NAF-913, and handed over by the NAF aircrew to a delegation from the Federal Ministry of Health. Abdullahi said that the donation items would go a long way in supporting the federal government's efforts to curb the spread of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Now, on other stories, Edo State government in Nigeria pays workers March salaries. Edo State government has paid civil and public servants March 2020 salaries to cushion the effect of the economic disruption caused by the spread of the coronavirus. This was contained in a statement by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Media and Communication Strategy, Mr. CRUSADES, on Wednesday. He said, and I quote, "The Edo State Governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, directed payment of salaries as a means to cushion the effect of the coronavirus pandemic in the state. They are very much aware that the disruptions in economic activities will affect the buying power of citizens and workers, hence the need to ensure prompt payment." He also said there is no denying that this move will provide the needed economic support for workers to stabilize in the light of the measures taken to halt the spread of the COVID-19 in the state. And now news coming from around Africa. Coronavirus combat Ethiopia to free over 4,000 prisoners. Ethiopia has announced it would free thousands of inmates from the country's overcrowded prisons as part of efforts to curb the spread of coronavirus. Attorney General Adanej Abebe told state media that the measures will apply to more than 4,000 prisoners, many of whom are locked up for petty crimes, and drug offenses, and have less than a year remaining on their sentences. Conditions in Ethiopia's prisons are harsh and in some cases life-threatening, marked by gross overcrowding and inadequate food, water, sanitation and medical care, according to the latest annual human rights report on Ethiopia from the U.S. State Department. As of Tuesday evening, Ethiopia had confirmed 12 cases of COVID-19 after conducting 480 laboratory tests. Officials say all the cases involve people who traveled from abroad or had direct contact with the people who traveled from abroad. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed appeals for Ethiopians to practice social distancing, having fallen on deaf ears as large crowds continue to gather in Addis Ababa for religious ceremonies and other events. And also still from Africa, Chad deploys soldiers after deadliest Boko Haram raid on military. Chad has deployed troops to boost security after Boko Haram militants killed about 92 soldiers and wounded more in the country. The soldiers were attacked on Monday on the island village of Boma in the swampy Lake Chad zone in the west of the country, where the armies of Chad, Niger, and have been fighting the terrorists for years. Boko Haram has stepped up its attack in recent months on the island of the Lake Chad basin, where it takes advantage of the vast terrain to launch assaults. Boko Haram's insurgency has killed 36,000 people and displaced nearly 2 million in the northeastern Nigeria since it began, according to the UN. Since 2015, countries in the region have cooperated in the multinational force, a regional coalition engaged around the Lake Chad basin, and it helped to move the residents from the vigilante groups. Now coming up next is news from the United Kingdom. We'll come back after the break.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femima.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth. Dear esteemed viewers, due to some unforeseen circumstances happening around the world, we wish to bring to your notice that the Greater Works Atlanta Crusade with the Restoration Apostle Johnson Suleiman, which was built to take place on Tuesday 31st March and Wednesday 1st April 2020, has been postponed indefinitely. A new date will be communicated, so do well to stay connected to Celebration TV. God bless you.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femima.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
You're welcome back. And now news from the United Kingdom. UK struggling with coronavirus test amid global shortage. Testing as many people as possible for the coronavirus is vitally important, but the global shortage of materials needed is causing a supply bottleneck, British medical authorities said on Wednesday. Not all staffs working within Britain's National Health Service, the NHS, are being tested, a major concern for health workers and a cause of mounting criticism of the government's response. England's chief medical officer, Chris Whitey, said that a news conference that they do not have sufficient testing, and this is a global problem because basically every country is wanting this new test for a disease that wasn't actually being tested for anywhere 3 months ago. There is a global shortage, and that's a bottleneck for us, he said, speaking alongside Prime Minister Boris Johnson at 10 Downing Street. Taking questions from reporters by a video link, Johnson baited away a series of criticism on the clarity of his advice to the public, his efforts to help self-employed people, and the speed with which he had acted to stem the spread of the virus. And moving forward, now onto the United States of America, U.S. Senate passes $2 trillion disaster aid bill. The U.S. Senate has passed a $2 trillion coronavirus disaster aid bill that is the largest economic stimulus in the U.S. history. The vote was delayed by a last-minute row between Republicans and Democrats senators over unemployment benefit. The plan includes direct payment of $1,200 to most American adults and aid to help small businesses pay workers. U.S. Coronavirus deaths are around the 1,000 mark, and there have been nearly 70,000 people confirmed infections. More than 21,000 people with coronavirus have died across the world since it emerged in China's Hubei province in December, while the number of infections is rising towards 500,000. Southern Europe is now in the center of the pandemic, with Italy and Spain recording hundreds of new deaths every day. Now on to business news. Asia poster child heads for recession due to virus. The world has been given an indication of the economic impact of coronavirus as Singapore released its initial growth figures for this quarter. The trade-reliant city-states now looks to be heading for its first full-year recession in about 2 decades. The figures suggest that the global economy is also set for a sharp contraction. This week, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, warned of a global recession worse than the one after the 2008 financial crisis. Singapore said gross domestic product shrank 2.2% year-on-year, while compared with the previous quarter, GDP fell by 10.6%. It marks the biggest quarterly contraction for the Southeast Asian nation since 2009 and the midst of the global financial crisis. As of the first countries to release economic growth data for the period in which the outbreak has been spreading globally, the numbers from Singapore provides a glimpse of how the ongoing pandemic could affect economies around the world. And still on business news, why orange juice prices are soaring on global markets. The future price of orange juice has spiked by more than 20% this month as consumers look for healthy products during the coronavirus pandemic. While demands have risen, supplies have been hit as producers struggle to transport goods due to transport restrictions. This has driven a rise in so-called futures prices of orange, which indicates the cost for delivery in the coming months. Orange juice futures are more best performing assets so far this year. On the supply side, there are also issues with not having enough workers as plantations introduce restrictions such as social distancing. Most commodities have a future price which can be traded on an exchange such as the Intercontinental Exchange. Futures contracts help companies lock into fixed price in the future to protect them from potential spikes in prices. Future contracts are common for soft commodities like oranges and wheat, which are vulnerable to sudden price rises due to bad harvest and natural disaster. Now, before we go on to sports, we're going to go on break, and immediately after break, we come for news from the world of sports.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth. Dear esteemed viewers, due to some unforeseen circumstances happening around the world, we wish to bring to your notice that the Greater Works Atlanta Crusade with the Restoration Apostle Johnson Suleiman, which was built to take place on Tuesday 31st March and Wednesday 1st April 2020, has been postponed indefinitely. A new date will be communicated, so do well to stay connected to Celebration TV. God bless you.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth.
You're welcome back now to sports news. Anthony Joshua is fit and healthy despite contact with the Queen and Charles. Anthony Joshua remains fit and healthy despite coming into contact with Prince Charles only a couple of weeks before their heir to the throne tested positive for coronavirus. The world heavyweight champion is following government guidelines around self-isolation but has shown no symptoms of the deadly disease, which threatens to derail his upcoming fight with Kubrat Pulev. On Wednesday, Prince Charles became the most high-profile member of the British establishment to contact coronavirus, with Clarence House announcing that the 71-year-old has been showing mild symptoms but otherwise remains in good health. It remains unclear when he caught the illness, but on March 9th, Prince Charles spent the day with the Queen, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and stars of sports and entertainment including Joshua at the Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey. Joshua is due to defend his IBF, WBA and WBO heavyweight titles against mandatory challenger Pulev at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on June 20th. In another sports news, Igalo has proved me wrong, says Rio Ferdinand. Former Watford striker Odion Igalo has silenced his critics with his impressive display in Manchester United colours ever since making a transfer deadline day move to Old Trafford from Shanghai Shenhua. The 30-year-old was at the receiving end of unending criticism from former United stars and pundits alike following the move. However, after backing up his performances with goals, one of his doubters, former United defender Rio Ferdinand, admits he has been forced to eat his words. Ferdinand admitted that he was one of the people who questions Igalo's signing, but after 8 games, he has 4 goals and 1 assist. And that's what we have for you on Celebration Television News Desk. And if you're just joining us, here is a recap of the news making the headlines. Nigerian military airlifts medical supplies and detection kits from China. Coronavirus combat Ethiopia to free over 4,000 prisoners. U.S. Senate passes $2 trillion disaster aid bill. Asian poster child heads for recession due to the virus. And Anthony Joshua is fit and healthy despite contact with the Queen and Charles. Now on to the photo of the day. Today's photo of the day shows a situation of life, and it says life doesn't get easier, you just get stronger. So despite the storms of life, despite the struggles, despite the efforts we put in to be what we want to be in life, it does not destroy us, it just makes us to be stronger. You can also share your views with us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Celebration TV. On Instagram, it's My Celebration TV. On Twitter, it's at My Celebration TV. And on YouTube, it's www.youtube.com/Celebration TV. Also, we are reminded to join the Restoration Apostle live tonight by 10 p.m. GMT +1 for a special service. The continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. No matter the office you hold as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, or as a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for us all and the generations to come. Play your part and do it with all diligence. Thank you for watching the news on Celebration Television News Desk. I am Belly Squatter. Have a nice day.
to 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offence.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun.